Right now, you put her to where her strength is. She's proven to be a great rim protector, challenges shots. So in the pressure situation, you can put her in the back end, let the four in front of her take chances, and she can clean up some of those messes. It gives you a chance to play a little more aggressively in the front part.
With the foul, we have Washington checking in. We have Bailey checking in for her. Good look there for Hall, unable to convert. Rainford with the putback. It's going to be blocked by Demiki. She comes down with the rebound, but her pass a bit far for Masam. It's going to go out of bounds. Lincoln ball.
Yeah, those ones haunt you a bit, Durham. I mean, Demiki, as you said, comes across, makes a nice block. They gather that, and it's almost what should be a casual breakout, but to not connect on that takes away that momentum you kind of build from the block shot.
There's Pachernik driving against Bailey. Martindale up top working against Chadwick. Here's Hall, the right wing three. A bit off. Fight for the rebound. Masam comes down with it. Here's Bailey, kicks ahead to an open Chadwick, and that's two more for Durham Elite.
Durham has really capitalized on this early, both against the pressure and the rebounding. If you're not involved in the play, whether it be passing through the pressure or that defensive rebound, they're just leaking out, and it's capitalized early on.
Oh, Grand was passed a bit too high for Martindale. It's going to be over and back on Lincoln. Durham Elite ball. And with that turnover, we have two subs checking in for Lincoln, but first we're going to have a timeout, Lincoln prep. So with 6 minutes left here in the first, we have an 8-4 Durham lead over the hometown Huskies.
Yeah, it's an interesting, this will be a timeout, I think now if you're Lincoln, you got to do a bit of assessment, because probably what you came in with your game plan has already been changed, and most times that's always the case, but you don't expect it to be so drastic. Maskowicz gets the two fouls early on, you've got Becker gone to the bench already, and you're only 4 minutes in. So at this stage, they've got to think, the pressure we tried wasn't working. What can we do now to get some momentum going back the way we want and be aware of the transition Durham's getting against us? On the flip, if you're Durham, you got to like how that's going. We've got a bunch of transition, and the only thing we haven't got in transition right now was Washington in a one-on-one play. So if you're them, I'm thinking at this stage you go back to Washington just to try to continue to get the leak outs and some easy baskets.
Great.
I think the subs will be an important piece to watch here for Durham as well. They're going to have their starters still on the floor, but how long do you go those while Maskowicz is out? Is this something you can get a chance to get some breathers for them, and then when Maskowicz comes back, your starters are still on fresh? Or do you just go right now and run the scenario to an advantage? If you can take this up, you can get a run. Do you take advantage of that rate at this stage?
So Durham comes out with the same five. We do have Becker and Balabiakubo both checking in for Lincoln. So a new look here for Lincoln. Durham, same lineup. We have a foul there on Pachernik, so it's going to remain Durham ball.
Chadwick does a nice job there. It looked like Lincoln wanted to run a bit of a double team or a trap on her, hoping she turned her back. She did have her back turned, but she kept the ball away from the defense and kind of took a dribble to kind of gain some space, and I think that's a really big key. A lot of times if the offensive player sweeps into that, if they pick it up, you lose all that space, but Chadwick came towards us, which just gave her some room to work with and figure out where the ball should move to.
A little bit. Didn't have her feet under her for Masam. A little tangled feet. She's going to get called for the travel, but right back the other way. Masam tips away the pass. Chadwick comes up with it. It's another steal for Durham. There's O'Hara trying to work on Becker, and it's blocked out of bounds. Going to remain Durham ball.
Great block by Becker. Love the take, though, for O'Hara as well. You get a chance one-on-one to go at Becker, especially with Maskowicz on the bench already with foul trouble. You take that chance and you go at her. Make her make that play. Becker did this time, but you continue to attack it.
Lincoln out here continues in this zone look. Bailey, here's up top. Demiki, a little bit too strong. The fight for the rebound, though. Masam's able to come up with it. Pachernik able, though, to rip it away from her, and here comes Lincoln in transition. Balabiakubo fakes the pass to Becker. She's going to be fouled by Bailey. She'll be at the line for two.
That's one Lincoln probably needed right now, trying to calm this thing down as something out in transition, numbers advantage, and then that turns into something at the free throw line. So probably the perfect scenario to kind of get things going back in their direction.
And we have McMillan checking in here for Martindale.
If you're Durham, there's still a lot to like on that last possession. You had Demiki with a clean look at the top. A shot probably Lincoln doesn't want her standing and sitting there walking into. Then they also got two touches on that offensive rebound. First O'Hara and then Massam underneath it, both trying to fight for that thing. So they were all around that offensive possession of keeping it going.
Again, Durham's able to break through that press, but Becker at the back end of this time able to pick up another steal.
Yeah, nice job. When you're one back, you got to find a way to make a play. Becker took away the passing angle, got a hand on it. Huge play for them.
Bobby Kubo driving from the top. Turns, finds Pockernick now driving from the top. Little tied up there by Bailey. Durham Elite comes down with the ball. Oh, a little miscommunication there, and the pass is going to go off of Durham. It's going to go Lincoln way.
Yeah, kind of a funny one. It looked like both athletes thought the other one was going to touch it, so you start to put your hand in, it kind of changes path, and then actually no one does, and I think O'Hara did hit it last before it went out of bounds.
2 subs here for Durham. We have Massam and Chadwick going out. Washington back in, and Toussaint's going to see her first action of the game.
I would think this is a time to try and get Washington back involved if you're Durham. You want something where she's getting a touch again. Just put the pressure on Lincoln. They have to defend that.
Here's McMillan off the Becker screen. They find Becker on the wing. Gets her pull-up jumper on the baseline. Another block for O'Hara. Demiki comes up with it, and Durham's looking to push again. Here's O'Hara, quick trigger from the left wing for 3, no good. Washington able to come down with the rebound, and they find Toussaint right on the block. Her shot's no good. The fight for the rebound's going to be foul on O'Hara. Lincoln ball.
So notice now Demiki's had 2 rebounds in her own end, and both of them have been a little bit careless or lackluster passes coming out. So it's going to be something that I'm assuming Durham's picked up on the same piece. They're going to probably want to talk to her about. She's going to be a big piece of getting deflection, steals, rebounds, and a part of like change of possession. Got to take care of that ball in the first action, getting it going the other direction.
And with that foul on O'Hara, that's her second also. So two key members of each squad both out with foul trouble early here in the first. Pockernick, her 3 just off. The fight for the rebound. Here comes Washington.
Great shot. They create that shot.
A little skip to Mailou, tries to get around her, but she ties her up. Great charge there taken by Pockernick, and that's going to be Washington's second. Some foul trouble here for Durham Elite.
Love that job by Pockernick because you wait that out. Sometimes athletes, the Euro step is a very common thing for the athletes to use right now. Go in, come back to where they're going. But most athletes are going to do that to go back to their strong hand. They're not going to go across their body with that Euro step. So she starts to do it. Pockernick just waits her out. I challenge you to make that reverse going the other way. Washington comes right back into her, gets the offensive foul.
And with that, we have Washington and O'Hara both on the bench. We have Kalfik just checking in for Durham. Here's Becker at the top, guarded by Toussaint. The little pullback jumper, just short. The fight for the rebound comes to 2 Lincoln players. Their pass is then tipped away by Bailey, and Durham Elite comes the other way. Toussaint a long 2, and it's good.
Well, they've had, from the Lincoln side, you had Becker with 2 early ones at the rim that she probably usually makes, and just the unlucky start of this game, she missed both. But now, since that point, she's gone to take mostly challenged shots. So didn't get in a rhythm by probably some bad luck to start, but now getting in a situation where it's going to be tough to get in a rhythm unless something changes.
And that foul was there on Toussaint, and that's going to send Balabia Kubo to the line. So foul trouble here, 3.5 minutes left. We have Lincoln in the bonus. Balabia Kubo able to finish both, so we have a 10-7 lead now for Durham.
Yeah, bonus might be what they need to get back in this thing if you're Lincoln. It's been a bit of a slow start for them. They can't make some shots early on. They typically do. The bonus and the trips to the foul line can neutralize a lot of things.
Bailey comes right back the other way, runs right into McMillan. She's going to be called for the foul, so Bailey's going to head to the line for 2 of her own.
This was an interesting one for Bailey, and it was a great read by her because the early success Durham has had has been throwing over top of this pressure, and they've had a lot of success getting over top of that, chance to attack. Bailey makes that read. It looked like Lincoln has started to fall back some. She's attacked and went on a straight line and got through it on the dribble. So a different look, same result of the success of getting through the pressure.
Able to hit the first, short on the second, but Durham Elite's able to get the offensive rebound. Chadwick's put back. Looked like it was blocked there by Tarrant, and it's no good. Lincoln comes the other way. Balabia Kubo, the runner on the baseline, no good, but Becker's put back, and she's able to get it to go this time.
That's probably the one she needs. Something at the rim to get to go down. The only thing better probably would have been a trip to the free throw line, but now you see if we get her in a bit of a rhythm because they're going to need some scoring from Becker here.
Here's Becker looking for a cutting Chadwick, tipped away by Balabia Kubo. Lincoln, they're off and running. Here's McMillan, and it's good for 2.
Very unselfish. Nice team basketball there by Lincoln. They get the steal. It moves at the right time to force a 2-on-1. The 2-on-1 from Hall draws the defender, makes the extra pass. Well timed, very unselfish.
So a little drop back pressure here by Lincoln.
But Lincoln doing a nice job mixing up, and the pressure still, again, a different look, kind of fading back of that one.
A deep three from Bailey, just too long. Kalfik looking to fight for it, but it's going to be off of her, out of bounds. It's going to go over Lincoln way.
No, not a bad look for Bailey. I mean, they had a good, clean look at this attempt down there. The thing Durham's got to look at now is it's probably been 4 minutes roughly. They've only had 2 points. They got to find something that gets them in a bit of a rhythm. And the reason why we say that is sometimes when you step into like a three-pointer when things aren't going, that isn't the one that you need to build that momentum.
Balabia-Kubo driving from the top. He'll get right to the key, and she's able to finish her floater. 2 more for Balabia-Kubo.
That's the look they want. So now we go the two sides comparison. Becker at the rim, Balabia-Kubo at the rim, 4 points. Let's see if Durham gets something in themselves to the rim.
A little miscommunication as Bailey saw Demiki with the back cut there. The pass was too low, though. It's going to go off of Durham, out of bounds. Lincoln ball.
Yeah, the backdoor cut is always such a difficult play, and there's a lot of components that go into it. And you touched on some of them. There's the communication to be on the same page. You're both making that same read of when you're going to go. And that seemed to all be there for Durham. The interesting part for Bailey is it seemed like the pass just kind of got away from her. She wanted to go low with the pass, but left it low. It was an underhand, low trajectory. You couldn't bounce up to a spot where Demiki could catch it. So it's almost like a shovel, stayed down knee high. Those are hard for an offensive player on the cut to the rim. So you go from this, and the downside with that one is that cut is probably just what we've been talking about, though. If they could have completed that pass, that would put Demiki in a spot where she probably gets a shot attempt in the paint, and that's what Durham's really needing right now. I bet they're in their timeout at this stage and talking about just that. How do we get something going to the rim here in the last 2 minutes?
And so you're the coach of both teams. Coach of Durham, you have O'Hara and Washington both out with 2, and Lincoln, you have Maskwich out with 2. When is the time you're going to bring those athletes back into the fold here in the first half?
Yeah, that's a good one. So there's so many different philosophies of how people approach it. For me personally, I wouldn't want someone to sit an entire half. I just think it takes away so much of their rhythm. And if you had someone like Maskwich who gets those 2 in 3 minutes or whatever that was roughly, you almost have to find a time here. Maybe the end of this quarter coming to the timeout would have been a possibility to start the second quarter just to give her a minute or 2, stay with foul trouble, but just stay in the game a little bit and then maybe find another pocket. The 2 Durham players had a little more run here in the first quarter, and I'd probably find somewhere mid-second to get them out there again for a bit of a run. Just a short stint to stay active and engaged in the game.
Here's Taran looking for 3 of her own. No good. Durham comes down with it, but Kalfik's pass is a bit off. Here's Hall at the top. Becker, the corner 3. Found a little room, unable to hit. We're going to have a foul here on Hall, pushing Demiki for the rebound. So Demiki will be at the line for 2 as both teams are in the bonus now.
Yeah, and this is where bonus really gets you. So you always hear coaches being frustrated with their teams getting the bonus, can't take those fouls, and this is probably the exact scenario. Now you get Hall, who's battling there for an offensive rebound. You probably like the effort of what's going on, and from that effort, the other team's shooting free throws. So it's the accumulation of all things you did early in the quarter to make that scenario possible that's frustrating about bonus.
Able to hit the first.
And for Durham, this is what they probably desperately needed. They've had 4 points now, I think, in the last 6 minutes. So we're getting a chance to the line. It was 3 before this one, going a chance to get to the line and add to that. I bet get a rhythm going, set up your defense are probably all key components.
Able to hit both from the line, so we have a tie ball game here. 1 minute left in the first. Pockernick running the offense for Lincoln, able to get right into the key, finds an open Rainford, the left wing. No good. The fight for the rebound, though. Pockernick with the tip. It's going to be tie-up ball, jump ball going Lincoln way.
I love the find, though. Pockernick there came over at the ball screen, got going down to her right. There was a back diagonal to the 45 to find the shooter. It was a great read, great find, gave them a good look at it.
Here's Taran to inbound for the Huskies, finds a cutting Becker. She finds some room and is able to hit for 2, plus the foul.
Yeah, that's a bit of what Becker needed. We needed the one at the rim where she got a clean look that last time down, which looked pretty good. It didn't fall. Now I guess this one in a foul, chip to the free throw line, get her in a bit of a rhythm end this quarter. Good building block for Lincoln.
The ideal ending point.
Yeah.
And that was Chadwick's first, but another key member of this Durham squad picking up a foul. So something that you definitely want if you're Lincoln side. Pockernick pushing the other way, trying to find a cutting Martindale, but it passes a bit behind her. It's going to go out of bounds. It's going to go over Durham ball. We have 40.7 seconds left here in the first quarter.
And I think often in this scenario, we try to talk about things like 2 for 1, but if you're Durham right now, it's probably more about get a really good possession. You never want to trade that off, and probably your entire focus at this stage is make sure we get a good possession.
Van Kalfik at the high post. The long three for Massam, bit too strong, but Toussaint's able to clean it up. 3 on the shot clock, though. Toussaint's shot unable to go. It's going to be shot clock violation. Lincoln ball, 15.2 here in the quarter.
And I like this too. Lincoln comes back to Maskowicz here for last possession, so almost like we talked about before. Low risk situation, but keeps her involved in this. Gets back on the floor here in the first quarter.
There's Pockernick working on Bailey. Off the Maskowicz screen, just checked in, gets right to the key and able to finish with the left. 2 points, Bryn Maskowicz. A little lefty three-pointer tried to go for Bailey. It's no good. So at the end of the first, we have Lincoln Prep Huskies 18, the Durham Elite Bulldogs 13.
Yeah, the sub to get Maskowicz back then works perfectly. She comes down.
Yeah.
To her credit, they run a screen to her side, which may have been something I avoided in the scenario of 2 fouls, and since her last one was setting a ball screen. But to her credit, she goes and set that and was very conscious or very deliberate in being that she was still on that screen, probably to an extreme, which is great awareness on her part. Gets it back, makes a nice move, scores. The only fault I'd have for her is that last shot goes at the buzzer. She kind of runs through challenging it as competitors naturally do, but you got to make sure it's a good teaching point to remind her you just have to stay out of that right now. This would be the one time you get that foul call. It'd be such a huge blow for very minimal risk. So on the flip of this, Max, though, that's a real nice. Lincoln leaves. They got Becker at the end of the quarter getting a little bit of a plus.
Yep.
They get Maskowicz back in. She gets a touch and has some success.
Yep.
Now you go back to the Durham side, and you're without Washington, who they wanted to and did in the first possession establish as an offensive key. You're without O'Hara, who does a nice job at both ends of the floor, challenging shots, rebounding, and scoring. So they're going to find some way now to generate a little bit of offense because they've looked a little stagnant since they've lost those players.
Yeah. Someone on the Durham side I'm going to look to get going is Demiki, as in the last few weeks has been one of the leading scorers in the OSBA. Only 2 points so far in this ball game, so she's my player to watch in the second quarter.
Yeah, I like that call. They're going to find something to get her going.
Both teams come out with the lineups that ended the quarter.
Just flirting with the half-court line there.
Woo!
Causing me stress.
Chadwick goes right to the basket. She's going to pick up the foul on Becker, and that's going to be her first. So no harm, no foul. Foul. Chadwick to the line for 2.
Some harm.
Chadwick unable to hit the first.
Yeah, Chadwick's probably, Demiki, as you said, is probably a key one for them to get going to, but Chadwick's probably a very reliable, consistent source to lean on right now in these times as well. She's a great decision maker for Durham. She's very effective around the rim, so to get her something on the high post where she can get to the rim, puts her in a good spot. So we'll see if they go back to that, if that's what they're going to try and get going here in the second quarter.
Here's Maskowicz working on Toussaint. Great defense there by Durham. They find Martindale in the key. She's going to be contested by Bailey. Her shot's no good. Chadwick comes down with the rebound.
Yeah, nice find by Maskowicz. In control in the drive, get to the middle of the paint, little dump off down low.
And here's Demiki for 3, a little bit off the fight for the rebound. Bailey's able to come up with it. Chadwick up top finds Massam. Pressured there by Maskowicz. Ball comes down. It's going to go to Demiki. It's going to be a jump ball tie-up going Lincoln way.
Yeah, and the game has been really physical right now. Both teams getting after it, bumping into each other, and I think it's been great basketball, but you can see both of them responding to that, so it's been fun to watch. Coaches never like that. They always feel on the wrong end of it, but both teams really competing.
And we have Johnson here checking in for Becker on the time. Martindale bringing it up against Massam. They find Rainford wide open in the key. Her shot blocked there by Chadwick, though. They swing it around the top. Maskwich looking to drive. Toussaint's going to challenge that. It's going to be a foul, though. Maskwich will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, great job by Maskwich. The shot fake got her a bit of an advantage. There was a bit of a miss dribble in the first one, meaning she didn't blow by her with it, but she used her body immediately to cut that angle off, so didn't need to. Use the first shot fake, body, kept that contact, and went up with the person on top of her. Defender draws the foul, so great possession.
Strong finish.
Yeah,
able to hit the first from the line.
Good point, Max. Good addition to that, too. It was a really strong finish. Gave herself a good chance of putting that thing in.
Able to hit the second. So we have Washington and Calvic both checking in for Durham. We have Toussaint and Demiki checking out.
See Maskwich back in the front here. We'll see how much pressure she's actually applying for them, if it's a bit of a decoy.
Washington driving, throws it over the top.
Best seats in the house.
I didn't see what
the
happened
athletes
there.
jumping right in here.
Maskwich cutting, fouled. Fouled by Bailey.
And her presence
Her
has
second.
been felt. I mean, you can see why we talked about the foul trouble being a big deal at the start of the game. She's come in now. She's scored. She drew a foul this next one to start the second quarter, and now she comes back down and draws another foul. Nice cut to the rim. So Maskwich's presence being felt.
Here's Johnson just checking in. Her long 2, and it's good. 2 more. Lincoln Brett. There's Washington at the top. Passes up that 3 attempt. They swing it a long 3 for Bailey, no good, but Washington's able to clean up the rebound. Here's Washington guarded by Maskwich. She wants to attack. Gets right to a pull-up jumper. It's off. Fight for the rebound. Here comes Pockernick. Lincoln using the leak out this time, and Martindale's able to finish for 2.
Yeah, coming right back at Durham with how they started the game. I think Durham had 8 of their first 10 points on leak outs or breakouts, and now we've flipped the switch if you're Lincoln.
Here's Bailey driving on the left side, tied up there by Pockernick. Calvic the long 2. It's no good. Lincoln comes down with the rebound. Here's Rainford on the right wing. They swing around up top. Here's Rainford. Passes up the open look, and there's Bailey comes down with it. And Rainford's going to pick up the foul in transition. It's going to be Durham elite ball on the baseline.
Yeah, probably, an interesting one for Bailey to draw a foul on. Nice job on the steal, gets the quick hands in there to get that, but then trying to corral it, didn't really have a full dribble, so it gets into her right hand or inside hand in this case. So because the ball's there, Rainford thinks she has a chance at it and ends up drawing the foul. So like I said, Bailey didn't probably have control of it yet from the steal and ended up working out in her favor.
Here's Washington inbound. It's going to be tipped out of bounds off of Hall. Remains Durham lead ball, 22 on the shot clock now.
So Maskwich with a very successful shift there for about 3 minutes, and now we'll see how the Durham, we've got both O'Hara and Washington in the same type of situation. We'll see how they make out.
O'Hara's pass for Massam is going to be picked off there by McMillan. Lincoln comes down with it. They're coming the other way. Here's Hall, the little up fake. Calling for the screen, it looks like. Here's Johnson setting that. They swing around. It's going to be picked off by Calvic, and Durham's looking to push. They swing around up top. Chadwick looking for Calvic, posting up down low. The pass is a little bit off, though. It's going to go out of bounds. Lincoln ball.
Nice job neutralizing that. I don't think too often we see Washington get out in 2-on-2 with the whole quarter, half court to work with, and end up in pass back to the top and start offense. So great job by Lincoln matching that up.
Looking to swing it around. It's going to be tipped out a bit, tipped through Martindale's hands. Johnson's long 3 attempt, though it's short. It's going to go shot clock violation. Durham elite ball.
It's for Lincoln on that one. Almost a sign of like almost too unselfish.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone kind of passed up good shots trying to find a great one, and there's a lot of pluses that come with that, but sometimes you got to take the shot your team has. You're not going to get too many clean looks at it.
Mm-hmm. And here's O'Hara, inbounds to Demiki. Swings it over to Kalfik. A good look from the key. She's going to be fouled by Granum. She'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, it looked like Granum lost a little bit of where she was. Typically does a nice job around the rim, but that one she ended up fouling outside the key. So the reason why I say that is that she challenged the shot, but she wasn't going to be positioned to rebound either. Typically you want your shot blockers or shot challengers to do that challenge and then be in an area where they can still land and get the potential rebound as well.
Kalfik able to convert both from the line.
So if you've lost your placing, you're in a rebound spot, it's probably a good reason why you're not exactly where you thought you were on the floor and leads to the foul.
A zone look here from Durham, little different defense. They find Martindale though on the block. Her shot's no good. Chadwick comes down with the rebound looking to push. It's going to be tipped off of her leg and out of bounds, so it's going to remain Lincoln ball.
Yeah, true. I'm not sure. I mean, you're absolutely right. I'm not sure she ever even had full possession of that. It's almost like a couple hands on it. She was starting the motion, but someone had tipped it and rolled down her leg. So Lincoln staying hot in pursuit. Deflection off the leg.
We have both Maskwich and Becker checking in with that out of bounds call, so we'll see how the Huskies respond. They find a cutting Maskwich to the ball, get it inbound, but her pass to the sideline is going to be tipped off of Durham. It's going to remain with Lincoln.
Yeah, one on the shot clock, it looks like.
The first number on the baseline shot clock does not work, so it's 21 on the shot clock. Staying in that zone, they find Becker at the high post. Her shot trickles out. Chadwick comes down with another rebound. And here's Demiki looking to push in transition.
I like that, though, for Becker, kind of working behind that first line of the zone defense.
Washington will get right in the key, and her floater's good.
That's probably the first floater we've seen tonight from Washington. It's a bit of a trademark shot for her. She gets herself on the dribble and has that nice release, soft touch getting out of there. So nice to see that shot for them. It might be something Durham needs a little bit more of. However many minutes they're going to stretch out of her.
Becker at the high post finds a Maskwich in the corner. She gets to her pull-up. 2 more points for Maskwich.
Maskwich, like, goes back to that shot fake again. She's created 2 shots for herself now off that shot fake. That gets the defender going, just plays out of that.
O'Hara gets right into the key, gets to her spin move. It's going to be blocked there by Maskwich. Lincoln comes the other way. They find a cutting Hall in transition, and she's able to finish for 2.
I may be alone or in the minority on this one, but I think Becker does a nice job cutting down the middle. You get that catch here in the paint. Personally, I just see your scoring forwards like that to make that catch and go to the rim. I mean, she made a great pass and ended up even worked out perfectly getting Hall on the drive as well, too. Sorry, we had a brief technical difficulties there. Great credit to our technical crew here, though. They literally had people diving on the floor to get this thing back. Very appreciative of that.
We are back.
We are back. Yeah, I say technical crew. We actually had our director overseeing the whole OSBA on the floor making this thing happen. So
OSBA. No job too dirty for them.
Make it happen.
So I think Steve's point got lost, cut off at the end. You wanted to see Becker attack there in the transition is what you're looking for her.
Yeah, mostly, exactly, Max. You get an athlete that size and a scorer, you catch it in the paint, you're on the move. You should be finishing on top of or over the defense. You already have a bit of advantage that you're on the move, so go finish that thing. And again, that's not to take away from the nice pass or the decision to get it to Hall, but I think the safer play in the long run is always that you get the player in that position to put it to the rim.
All right, so out of the timeout, we have both squads remaining with the same lineups that went in. We have Washington coming the other way. They find Demiki, the left corner. Long 2. It's good.
I love that one. They come out of the horn set there. Washington comes off as a bit of a hesitation dribble, and she did that just as the first person came open, so the defense starts to scramble where they think she's going to pass. She takes one more dribble now and gets Demiki wide open. Great play by Washington.
Another mix-up defense there. A little trap from Durham confused the Huskies. They're able to get them up with another steal. Coming down the other way. Washington's pass for Kalfik is tipped away by Hall, and Lincoln's looking to push.
Nice catch by Granum.
Granum looking to find Maskwich. Little miscommunication, though. As she was cutting, it's going to be an over and back violation. It's going to go Durham Elite way.
Yeah, those are tough. I almost said Grant out there, like a tough catch going towards the baseline, or she made a nice catch to do that. But then when your forwards or posts have extended themselves underneath the rim trying to make that catch, they're usually a little bit off balance, and it's hard to find a way to get it back out.
Here's Washington, a good look from the left wing, and it's good.
So they've got her going in the second quarter. Really interesting how these fouls started the game because we had the two players, or the key player for each, a key player for each team on the sidelines. Now they've both come in and made their marker in the second quarter. Washington now in a little bit of runner herself. Maskwich had a big second quarter, and this game's tied because of the two players that were in foul trouble.
And great play there by Demiki coming up with the tip and the steal and then the assist to a cutting Washington. So great play by Durham.
Yeah, great play. I mean, Washington's been so impactful. We talked about the hesitation coming out of the timeout. That last timeout till now has been all Durham. We talked about Washington's hesitation, found that one, got Demiki going, but then Washington gets herself in there with a three, then this one going to the basket. So a couple key baskets, but not just the momentum swing to get Durham scoring, but also getting Washington back involved. And now you've got the situation with 4 minutes to go that maybe a third foul isn't as, you still don't want it for any of these players that we've talked about, but it's not as harmful as a third foul at the start of the second quarter or even in the first. So they may ride these athletes out now with the way that they're both playing in Maskwich and Washington, or you might find some time to rest them here. My gut would say that we're going to see Washington for the last 4 minutes barring a foul, and then Maskwich will probably make another appearance here soon as well.
So we have Toussaint here checking in for O'Hara. And that's the only change there for Durham. For the Huskies, we have Gucker-Wicki checking in for Hall.
Well, my mistake, Maskwich is still on, so won't be coming back. She's back. She's never left.
She's back. Pachernik driving on the left-hand side. Becker, the long two, and it's good.
I like that. They took Becker out of the ball screen to let her play off that, and I think that's a really good spot for her. Her facing up has been a pretty tough matchup for most of the year, and I think it's a good advantage for Lincoln to have Becker making that pass and Maskwich working down the blocks for something in behind the defense.
We have a foul there on Pachernik defending Washington, so it's going to be Durham lead ball on the baseline. So Washington up top, little step back jumper, and her three is good. Feeling it here in the second quarter.
Yeah, that's what they talk about those ones earlier. We were talking about, I guess, is that if you can get her into a bit of a rhythm, she's such a threat. Now all those become part of her game. A bit of a step back, creating her own shot. She's got 2 threes now in this quarter. Really getting herself going.
Here's Rainford, tries to find a cutting Becker. Chadwick comes up with the steal this time. She goes right the other way and is able to finish for 2 in transition.
Chadwick does a nice job. She's really extended outside the backboard for the finish, but she does a nice job of pulling that defender right to the line of the rim, all the way inside the paint before she goes towards the outside to get the finish.
Becker right back the other way, gets to her left hand, unable to finish though. Chadwick comes down with it, and here comes Durham.
Yeah, and by comparison for Becker on this one, she probably gives up that space too early. So nice drive to her left, but then starts to fade away from the rim too early, giving up all the space to the defender.
Washington got the little up fake working there, confuse the defense. Got a good look for Bailey, unable to hit though, but then another steal for Durham in transition, and Demiki with the spin. Able to finish for 2 more.
I love that one, Max. Big steal. She had the one-on-one that side. She set that thing up. That was a great move. I love it. And then back to the left.
Yeah, the lefty finish too. All kind of fanciness over here for Durham.
Yeah, that's big time for Demiki there.
The long two for Becker, and it's good.
Oh, like Becker might have got away with a quick shuffle of the feet there, so Lincoln will take that to get her back and going and slow down what's been rolling a bit here for Durham the last couple of minutes.
Here's Bailey, drives right on Gucker-Wicki, and that's going to be Maskwich looking to challenge a shot. She's going to be called for the foul. That's her third.
You know, without going too far on this, but I do think Maskwich has to have a bit of a sense of her competitive nature and desire to get in every play, and that balance between getting herself into foul trouble. I feel the last couple games we've been here, she's walked that line a bit to her own detriment. I mean, she's so important to this Lincoln team. We see the impact she's had. And this third foul doesn't, it's not awful to have 3.5. I think it's fine. She can play the second with 2, but she gets a couple right now each game that she probably doesn't need to take, and that's one of them. Like, they're already taking a tough shot. She's there. you can kind of stay out of that one. If she makes that really tough shot, that's fine. That's way more important than you getting right in there, having a hand to her hand, making it 1% more difficult. So,
and even if she does go to contest, it was a little out of control. Got the full follow through going. It wasn't one the referees could miss there.
Correct. It's, you got to see when the offensive player's at disadvantage and almost just like let that shot happen to the benefit of keeping you in the game if you're Maskowicz. And I think that's, I'm sure they're talking to her about it, and I'm sure she's aware of the same thing. It's hard when you're in the game to have those things happening live, but it has to be a continued conversation because she's just too important to have sitting on the bench with fouls that you don't need.
Another tip on Durham on this end, got the ball out of bounds off of Lincoln, so another steal for Durham. They throw it right into Tucson. Her first shot's no good, but the putback is good, and that's 2 more points. Durham Elite, they now take a 6-point lead, 38-32.
Yeah, I like Tucson going to work there. You follow your own shots, always good bonus points to the coaches, people that go in there and follow their own miss.
And on the left wing, we have Balbiacuba going to be called for the travel there, so it's going to go Durham ball here. 1:07 remaining here in the first half.
So now you're in the range, I mean, depending on the pace you want to play at, but this is probably still a 2-for-1 type thing, but you want to take your time if you're Durham on this one. Just count this thing down.
Chadwick finds a cutting Tucson, and she finishes for 2 more.
Or if you get a good basket or a good look at it, you always take that. That is always better than an extra possession. 2 points.
Becker, the up fake goes right by Chadwick. She's going to be fouled. Unable to convert, though. She'll be at the line for 2 on Tucson's foul.
I like that one a lot from Becker. She also uses a nice shot fake. Gets to that right-hand scoop, which is probably a nice play to get to the glass. I thought all that was fine. The pieces she's going to want to change from that is actually the extra dribble she had put in there. So shot fake, get to her right hand, and almost took her 2 dribbles to get to full speed where she has the potential, and we've seen it to take that within 1 dribble, and maybe a second one has her at the rim. But overall, positive thing. Gave herself a chance to finish it. And a little tidy up can make it probably a 3-point play.
And we have O'Hara checking in there for Tucson, who picked up her 3rd foul there on that last contest.
So the O'Hara one's a good one to come back in. You give her an offensive possession. You probably gave her the last second instructions, too, of like, stay out of anything on the defensive end right now. We don't need you.
Please don't foul.
Yeah, we just don't need you in there. If we can get everybody going to the second half with only 2 if you're Durham, you're like, we're in a pretty good spot. So that's more important than a block shot.
Right the other way, Bailey finds O'Hara unable to hit the first, but puts her miss right back up and in. 2 points, Durham Elite.
Well, that's why she's in. Right, you go in to get her for that offense. Now just stay out of trouble here at this defensive end.
They look to go at her. Here's Becker at the top. A long 3 over the outstretched arm. It's no good. Hall fighting for the rebound, though. Comes up with it, but it's stolen away by Chadwick. Demiki leaking out, and she's able to have 2 more.
A bit of a bad break. Hall makes a heck of a play to get in there, wrestles for that ball, and it ends up in the crowd, so it gets knocked loose. But you go from a great effort and looking at an offensive rebound to a breakout layup the other way is just unfortunate sometimes.
Balbiacuba able to get in the key, but tied up. Nothing going there at the end of the half, though, for Durham Elite. So, at the end of the first half, we have the visiting Durham Elite Bulldogs 44, the hometown Lincoln Prep Huskies 34.
Well, that looks like, if my math is correct, and feel free to correct me, I believe Durham had 31 points in the quarter.
Yep.
And it felt like that, too. And I think that's really the big story of what this first half went like. You had a very competitive first quarter. It looked like when we got Maskowicz back in, Lincoln had a bit of a boost. But all of a sudden, Washington came back in, finds Demiki to start. I think herself goes on 3 or 4 shots in a row, and a run starts. And they used that. It kind of propelled them. Once Washington got going, the offense for Durham just kind of exploded from there out. So what turned to a tight game, and it still is. 10 points is not much at halftime, but it really switched the momentum of how this thing felt at probably the midpoint of second quarter to where we finished. And Durham's going to want to continue to build that going in the second half.
So leading scorers after the first half for Durham Elite, we have Washington with 12, Demiki with 8, and Chadwick with 7. Leading scorers for Lincoln Prep, we have Becker with 11, Maskowicz with 8, and Ballybicuba with 5.
this game.
All right, so coming out here to start the half, we have a 10-point Durham Elite lead over the hometown Lincoln Prep Huskies. Stephen Bauer, what are your 3 keys to the second half?
I think, Max, the first one is to see what Lincoln does with their pressure. It's been a bit of a staple for them all year. They've changed the flow and disrupted the game many times this year, and in the first half, Durham was able to capitalize and flip it the other way. So how that battle goes is probably one. I think the second is going to be the rebounding stretch or the rebounding battle. Both teams went through little stretches where they made shots, but in typical fashion, there's also some stretches where defense makes some misses, and who can end up on top of that battle is a big piece. And the third one's actually going to be the foul situation.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, it's just been enough of a storyline in this game where I think it's going to be a key going forward as well, too. Maskowitz being a big key within that.
Here's Washington up top. O'Hara on the wing, guarded there by Becker. They find a cutting Chadwick up top, looking to work on Maskowitz. Great defense there. O'Hara now quick trigger over top of Becker. It's no good. The fight for the rebound. Hall comes down with it. She's able to get it out to Maskowitz.
And the rebounding battle starts out with a strong fight in the first one. You got 2 on the floor and 2 trying to pick it up.
Maskowitz looking to get a touch on the block, guarded by Washington. Balabicubo's pass a little bit too high, though. Unable to get it to Maskowitz. It's going to go out of bounds. Durham elite ball.
That's too bad from Lincoln's side. You'd love to get that one to get Maskowitz involved. And even if some help comes, you're going to draw some sort of advantage on that. The Maskowitz-Washington matchup probably won't play one-on-one for the entire time, and then you just hope the ball can move, something Lincoln's very good at, and it gets a pretty good shot of just an entry.
It's going to be tipped out of bounds. Going to remain with Durham. Here's Washington on the wing, guarded by Balabicubo. Uses the Chadwick screen, now guarded by Maskowitz. The quick trigger over top of her. It's too strong. Chadwick's able to clean up the rebound, though. Goes right to the rim, unable to finish with the left. Maskowitz comes down with it and looking to push herself for Lincoln.
Start the game, Durham ran that sideline play but didn't bring the cutter over, let Washington play in space, and surprised after the time that elapsed they didn't go back to it with how successful it was in the first quarter.
The three's no good by Balabicubo. The fight for the rebound is going to go off of Rainford and out of bounds. It's going to go Durham elite way. Here's Washington working against Balabicubo up top. Runs off the O'Hara screen. Chadwick with the slip. Just couldn't handle the pass from Washington. It's going to go out of bounds. Lincoln ball.
That's too bad on a misconnect. You could almost see the Durham bench getting up there pretty excited. You could hear the reaction. Chadwick made a great slip. Was in behind the defense. It looked like the right play was happening. Just couldn't connect to finish it off.
Durham shows a little pressure off their own. Lincoln's able to break it, though. They find Maskowitz at the high post, and she's able to take it right to the rim for 2.
Again, the head fake. I think Maskowitz and Becker that we talked about earlier both have a chance to eliminate a dribble they're doing to the rim, but that's hidden right now by how great their fakes have been. They both had head fakes that have gotten the defense up and going right past people.
There's Demiki at the high post, gets to the spin again and back to her left hand. 2 more.
Yeah, great touch finishing inside now. She's done it a couple different ways. The spin to the left. This time they're a little moving tight there and goes back to the left as you said, a little hook.
Lincoln working around. Here's Becker up top, guarded by Demiki. Cuts her off. Good help there by Washington. They're looking to get Becker a touch on the block now. Rainford can't get it to her, though. Balabicubo gets right into the key, finds Becker in the corner. A long 3 just short. Balabicubo comes down with the rebound. They find an open Maskowitz. Her shot's off. O'Hara comes down with it. It's going to be called for a hold on Rainford.
I like a couple things there, though. I like Becker. You're getting a real tough spot. You're in the deep corner, clock expiring, so to put it on the rim gives yourself a chance, A, to make it, but also, 2, for the offensive rebound, which they got. But then, 2, I love the job by O'Hara down there. She got a tough block out, was really engaged in that piece. Offense was trying to fight to get around her, so instead of her releasing that to get the ball, she actually held that spot and fought for the ball with one hand, which drew the foul.
Demiki throws over the top to Bailey, who finds O'Hara in the corner. She gets a little up fake on Becker. Gets her own rebound, though. Here's Chadwick, the 3, and it's good.
Nice job by O'Hara. I thought she almost got the foul in the first one, too. Again, used the shot fake to get defense up in the air. Looked like she almost had them land on her, but then sticks with it to get the kick out.
Lincoln swings it around, finds Hall open on the baseline. Her shot rattles out. Maskwich comes down with it. She's going to be fouled by Bailey from behind. She'll be at the line for 2.
Great rebound by Maskwich. Kind of tracked that one across the rim. It looked so subtle. She ended up in the right place, but she had gone from this short side block, and as the shot went up, kind of followed it off the rim to get to the front to catch that. So good anticipation to work that through. I bet she'd love to have it over once she had that catch to be a little stronger finish, not knowing maybe the guard was behind her, but great rebound and trip to the line for 2.
Maskwich able to hit, sorry, both from the line. We have Toussaint checking in here for Durham Elite for Bailey, as that was her 3rd foul. Here's Lincoln's pressure. Demiki cutting through. They find her. The little fake pass gets Maskwich going the wrong way, but unable to convert the layup. Here comes Lincoln the other way. The long 3 from Maskwich, and it's good. Yes. 7 points here early on for Maskwich, filling it up here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, I like the. Sometimes you celebrate a little too early. So Durham's had 2 of those. They had the back up by Chadwick. Everyone went excited, but ended up being the wrong outcome. And then again, you're really excited in this play, but everyone's so excited you lose Maskwich in transition. She hits herself a 3. So gotta wait till these things finish, I guess, before you get into celebration mode.
Here's Maskwich now on the left wing. Finds McMillan up top, back to Maskwich. They swing to the corner. Balabiakubo for 3, and it's good!
Good extra pass there.
Back-to-back 3s for Lincoln. Cut this now to a 5-point lead for Durham.
McMillan moved that quickly to Maskwich, which got the advantage start, a 2-on-1 that side. Maskwich just kept it moving down for the wide open shot in the corner. Good ball movement.
Toussaint up. Chadwick looked to respond. Great defense by Maskwich. It almost looked like the bobble went off Toussaint, came back to Chadwick, and she's able to finish with the left hand there.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I'm not sure I had the right angle. It looked like Chadwick had lost it. The next thing you know, she's coming around the crowd laying it in. So good job sticking with it. If it was what it looked like, I don't know what happened.
Don't know what happened. On Washington, on Balabiakubo's cut, Washington's going to pick up the foul, so that is her 3rd. She's going to head to the bench. Masayam checking back in. It's going to be Lincoln ball on the baseline.
So the 3rd is fine. I mean, I like the move too of giving her a couple of minutes right now to keep it in its fine range, but it does make Washington be aware that you don't want that 4th too early.
Up fake there by Balabiakubo, able to get in the key. They find Maskwich. Her shots there are blocked. Coming the other way, Masayam gets to the Euro. It's no good. Fights for the offensive rebound, though. Durham Elite still has it. O'Hara's long 2 is good.
Durham's been on the glass here a bit early offensively, and that's been a bit of a difference for them. They've had a few extra chances from that, and that was a big bucket they needed to stem some of the tide.
Great pass there by Becker. Finds an open Hall for 3, and she's able to hit 3 more for Lincoln.
Wow, the shooting for Lincoln's been the story the other way, though. I mean, it seems like everybody's just making 3s now.
Great defense there, tying up Masayam. Here comes Hall in the open court. She's able to get the rim for 2 more.
That's a nice finish, actually. It's a little underappreciated sometimes. You get a loose ball and you're a bit of a dead heat. You know someone's on your back. So for Hall to have the body control to do that, get to the glass, you've seen a lot of athletes put that on too heavy. So nice job finishing.
Toussaint gets in the key. He has a little up fake and finishes with the left around Maskwich.
It's a nice one, too. I also feel like Toussaint, it's almost like the Chadwick one, probably got to a spot where she was going to pass, and it just didn't, the pass she wanted wasn't there, so stayed on balance and just put it off the glass.
Becker gets right in the lane. She's going to be fouled by O'Hara. She'll be at the line for 2, so that's O'Hara's 3rd, too. Foul mounting here for Durham Elite.
This is a bit of what got them in the first half, and it coincided with the run that Lincoln made. So Washington got into early foul trouble. O'Hara got in foul trouble. Both of them had to sit at the same time. Lincoln then went on a bit of a run. So we'll watch now if Durham tries to play this a little differently with their lineups. They may not feel as comfortable in the second half to have both of them on the bench at the same point.
And Becker able to convert both from the line. Lincoln Prep continues to hit from the foul line.
Yeah, Lincoln's making everything right now, which is great. It's pulled them right back into this game. Durham has to find a way to slow this down a bit and get through this wave. You can't imagine someone's going to make shots the entire game or entire half.
Here's Demiki bringing it up against Hall. Massam, the long three from the corner, off. Becker comes down with it. McMillan trying to work on Allen. She's going to be tied up, though. It's out of bounds off Durham. It's going to remain Lincoln Prep ball.
Like that, though, for McMillan. Get in there, explore, see if you can get the defense to collapse. Nice tip out by Chadwick there on the inbounds play. So stayed on the inbounder, take away some of the passing angle, but also kept enough of contact with Becker to get to the pass as well.
So we have Bailey and Kalpic both checking in. We have Chadwick and Massam going out for Durham.
So we had, I'm not sure the referees are confirming or something. We had 1 second come off the shot clock during the stoppage. And now we're going to put that second back on.
A good look from the outside. It's no good. Masquich's follow is also no good. Her third attempt, she'll be fouled. She'll go to the line. 2 more.
That's kind of a funny one there for Masquich. The first one, it looked like Becker's shot kind of fooled Durham. They weren't expected to be so short, so they were looking almost on the other side of the rim. So Masquich kind of like a little bit of a gift there. The only one saw the ball coming in that short. Missed probably a bit of a bunny in the sense that she usually makes that one. Gets her own offensive rebound and works it to her advantage. Chance to draw a foul, go to the line.
Padding the stats. Who doesn't love some more rebounds? Masquich able to hit the second. And she's going to be checked out here with Martindale coming in for Lincoln Prep.
Masquich, for the time being, has kind of alleviated the foul trouble for the game. You're sitting at 3. If you can get to the third quarter, 2 for the fourth would be a great spot. So she probably comes back for about 2 minutes here in the fourth quarters, or third quarter is my guess. And as long as she can stay with foul in that stretch, she'll be fine going into the fourth.
And we have Balabukubo is going to be called there for the reach, and on to Miki bringing up the ball. That's going to be Lincoln's second of the quarter, so not yet close to the penalty.
Yeah, then that one's probably fine. I mean, you like to get some pressure on the ball carrier, like to get a little disruption go up there in the front court, so you'll take that one when you're not too close to bonus.
Here's Bailey working on Balabukubo this time. Looks like she was tied up there by Pockernick and is going to be called for the travel.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, probably the right call, but always so frustrating when you're the coaches to see bodies fly around like that, including, especially if it's the ball carrier goes up over top of someone and lands on the floor. I feel like something has happened there, but travel it is, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Correct call.
Probably.
Staying neutral on this one. Team Swiss over here. Here's Balabukubo driving from the top, finds an open Pockernick along 2. A little bit off. Balabukubo, though, fighting for the rebound, and she gets 2 of her own.
Now, I want to give her full credit for fighting, tracking that thing down, fighting for it, and getting it. I will say, Max, and I see the turnover, but I will say it was interesting. It looked like she might have used her left leg to corral that rebound. I feel like that would be the instance where you might have had to call football. Kick it to yourself. It looked like from here she got her foot on that to bring it back to herself.
Unsure about that, but we'll go with it. We check the replay. So we did have, right before the timeout, a Bailey turnover on the pressure. So it is going to be going back to Lincoln ball here. So it's going to be Lincoln ball in their front court with a 1-point Durham lead now. 3 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, Durham, I think it's twofold. It feels like you need to score, but I don't know that the offense has actually been their challenge. They're probably only about 10, 11 points in this quarter, but really the other piece that's he's given up 20 already, so they've got to find a way to slow Lincoln down for the next 3 minutes. And Lincoln came out and made everything here to start the quarter, which is a credit to them, but Durham has to change something to try and disrupt that flow a bit. And it may be something that you do temporarily or something you explore for the rest of the game, but something's got to change here, hoping you can get Lincoln on the rhythm they've currently been in.
Coming out for Lincoln, we have Martindale, Balbicuo, Pockernick, Taran, and Becker. Coming out for Durham, we have Allen, Kalfick, Chadwick, Washington, and Demiki. Balbicuo gets it in. Finds Taran open for three. Too strong. The fight for the rebound, though, is going to be tipped off of Allen. It's going to remain Lincoln prep ball.
Love that one. They come baseline. They just drive to the middle of the pull defense with them, throw them back where they came from. Get a little bit of a hole there. Nice job coming to the timeout to find a shot.
Here's Balbicuo working on the left. Martindale now drives in. Good defense there by Washington. Take away the pass. It's going to force Martindale into a travel. It's going to go back to Durham Elite.
This might sound a bit bizarre as well, Max, but I actually like the turnover because I agree with you. I think Martindale was about to pass it and realized how high risk that was. Washington made a nice play. Instead of her throwing that out of desperation into Washington going the other direction, she actually just had to absorb it and take the turnover.
And Demiki for a long two off the Chadwick screen. Becker up top, the little pump fake, and she decides she'll take it, and she answers with three of her own. The fourth Lincoln Prep three of this quarter.
It's one of these funny things. It's always a bit of a test for a team is when you get a lead, and Durham had their 10-point lead. Once you have that, whenever you lose, it's always a bit of a challenge for that team. So they haven't yet. So it's one thing I think teams usually strive for and fight for is to maintain the lead as long as you can. And then if you lose it, can you respond to battle back and take it back?
Chadwick's pass for Kalfick's going to be tipped away there by Taran. Pockernick, though, stepped on the end line in trying to retrieve that. 9 on the shot clock here for Durham.
So a couple big possessions here for Durham. Can you get the next bucket?
Here's Lincoln in the zone. They find Chadwick open for three in the corner, and she hits another one. Her second three of the quarter.
And that's a big one. Let's just, like I say, just hold on to that lead a little bit longer. Keep the pressure on Lincoln's side.
Here's Becker up top, guarded by Chadwick. Finds Martindale on the side. She dumps it off to Becker, gets to her left hand with the spin, unable to convert. Chadwick comes down with it. Here's Washington pushing in transition. They swing it around up top. Here's Chadwick looking to go to work. Toussaint now gets to her left hand. She's going to be fouled. She'll go to the line for two.
Toussaint does a nice job there attacking to the middle, but the very last second, so the step she takes before she goes into a shot, she turns her body directly towards the rim and towards that defense. So that draws the foul and the contact and gives her control of her body in the situation with the shot with her left hand. Great job creating the contact, getting a clean shot off.
A little bit short on the first. And hits the second. 4-point lead now, Durham Elite. Becker, a long two this time, and she's able to hit.
She's really getting going. So we had a bit of a slow start for her. Good finish there at the end of the first quarter, and then a nice second quarter, but now really getting going here in the third quarter.
Chadwick looking to find a cutting O'Hara. It's going to be picked off, and here's Becker now in transition. The fake pass, skip to Mylou, and she finishes with the right hand.
And that's the one that puts Lincoln back up by one.
Pockernick with the steal. Martindale the up fake. She gets an open jumper. It's no good. O'Hara comes down with it.
So this starts the challenge for Durham now. You had the lead, you lost it. Can you then regather that momentum that's gone to Lincoln's way and get yourself back into this game? It's a really tough challenge, I think, for most teams.
I think Becker heard you in the first half telling her to just go right to the rim when she gets in transition. She did, and she was able to finish this time.
Yeah, good point. I loved it. I loved the way it seemed natural, that one. Go finish.
Here's Washington trying to answer. She's going to be fouled by Balabukubo on the attempt. She'll go to the line for 2. That's Balabukubo's 3rd of the game.
Yeah, and that's probably exactly what you want if you're Durham now, is get something for Washington on the dribble going back towards the rim. And then if you can get to the foul line, which ends up being probably the utopia of scenarios.
The utopia. Okay. A little bit off in the first. Utopia not working here for Kashana Washington.
It can pay dividends later, Max. Free trip to the foul line, get her into a little bit of rhythm, get Washington going again. I think it's a lot of positives.
Able to hit the second. We'll see if that can get her going here. Her first point of the 3rd quarter. We now have a tie ball game, 62-all, 40 seconds remaining here. Hall's pass tipped away by Chadwick. It's gonna go off of Johnson and out of bounds. It's gonna be Durham ball.
Seems to be a little.
Oh. Yep. It was tipped off of Johnson after the tip by Chadwick, so it's gonna go Durham way.
Yeah, interesting. I think they were trying to ask if the call was if there was a double tip or if it was no tip. So I'm not sure what the coaches got as an answer to that, but regardless, it is Durham's ball.
Here's Washington using the Caliphix screen, gets an open look for 3, just short. We're gonna have a foul though on the rebound. And that's going to be on O'Hara, so that's her 4th foul of the game. And that's also going to be bonus. So coming back the other way, we're going to have Pockernick at the line for 2.
Yeah, tough one for O'Hara there and for Durham. I mean, it hit probably all facets of what you didn't want. An offensive rebounding foul at the end of a quarter that took away what looked like a putback for your team. Also puts them on the line. And then probably most importantly in this scenario, it's going to be her 4th foul, which is going to impact how they can use her here in the 4th quarter. And also then puts a bit of a strain on Washington because you probably don't want both of them off the court at the same time. So Washington's probably going to log some extra minutes now.
And Pockernick able to hit both from the line. With that, we do have Caliphix and O'Hara both checking out. Bailey and Tamiki both back in for the game for Durham. So we have 22.5 seconds here. Durham ball down 2.
Surprised they didn't let O'Hara play the offensive possession since it probably can be a 1-possession quarter at this stage.
Chadwick gets into the lane. Here's Toussaint working on Becker. Her shot's blocked. Bailey, the up fake on Becker, gets around her in the step in, and it's going to go. So we're going to have a made shot plus the foul. Bailey at the line for 1 more.
This would be great play by Bailey. Not to make sure that the step back, the shot fake, all done in control to get to that scenario. Then to go by her, draw the foul again. Becker off with a great block. At this stoppage, I would have subbed Washington just to prevent any risk of another foul here. It's just going to be 1 possession.
Oh.
And that's why
you don't. And Washington's able to come up with a steal in that floater. 2 more for Durham.
Yeah, that's why you leave her. She can make the plays happen. So that's why I'm sitting over here.
Take a seat, Steven. So at the end of 3, we have Durham Elite with a 3-point lead, 67-64 over the hometown Huskies.
So we have another, so back-to-back, we've had teams scoring 30 points in the quarter. We had Durham in the second scoring 30 points, and now Lincoln comes out in the third and scores 30 points. So both these teams have shown the ability to put the ball in, which makes the 4th quarter so interesting. I mean, you're going in a 3-point game. You know, both teams can either get hot or fill it up. So the challenge is going to be out there now. We talked about at the halftime, and our key things are going to be a little bit of the foul trouble, and probably we were leaning a little bit more of like the Maskowitz story, but she seems to be in a good spot now. And O'Hara might actually be the story that's a bigger factor of the foul trouble for Durham with 4 and how they're going to be able to use her or utilize her in the 4th quarter.
Great point, great point. Here's Parkin working up top against Washington, able to get in the key. Here's Hall, the open jumper. The bank's no good. Washington able to clean up the miss.
Nice job by Hall working in behind the defense there. She kind of got lost on the baseline. Gets herself around the square for a good look at it.
Durham falls into that zone on the baseline out of bounds. They find Hall up top. Here's Rainford, an open look from the right wing. Just too strong. Demiki tips it out to Washington, who's going to push for Durham.
Rainford also got lost behind that zone, so Durham's have to be very conscious of that.
Great move from Chadwick, driving from the high post. She's going to be fouling. She'll go to the line for 2.
Chadwick's so tough on this little spin inside there because she finishes well with her left hand, so we'll see. Naturally, as a defender, you don't want to let someone go to their dominant hand, to their right hand inside, but she goes so well to her left and finishes so well, she becomes a dual threat.
Chadwick able to hit.
Watch here now if Durham can show some pressure in the fourth quarter, if they give a different look at some point. They've had some man, they've had some zone and defensive package, and we'll see if something comes in the full court.
Here's Babiakubo driving on Toussaint, but great help there by Chadwick, able to poke it away. Here's Bailey looking to push. Right in the key, her floater, just short. Able to come up with the rebound though. It's going to be tipped off of Becker from behind, so it's going to remain Durham Elite ball.
Nice job getting her own rebound there. Looked like Bailey on the first shot got kind of caught between steps, was about to go right to the rim, changed her mind last minute to go floater, and probably didn't have her footwork underneath her to get that up with the angle and touch she wanted. I'm going to quick talk here. I think about the shot clock. And they're going to move that back, shot clock down to 11 was the adjustment the referees were working out.
Good call, Steven. Oh, a little confusion. They get into Washington here, 10 on the shot clock now. Put her in that horn set. Maskwich jumps out to defend. She looks to attack. It's the crossover into the 3, just off. Demiki's able to clean up the glass though. A little lefty floater, it's no good. And we're going to get Parkernick called again on the rebounding foul. It's going to remain Durham Elite ball.
And you know, Bailey makes all of that one happen just through second effort. So she came in, Parkernick got a body on her, but she didn't allow the block up to be where she stopped. She continued to try to get around her. And I think most times the referees look at that. If you just run and lean on the defender, they just put the whistle away on that piece. But Bailey was trying to get around her. Parkernick wouldn't let her, and that's where she drew the foul.
That was Parkernick's force, so she also heads to the bench with Hall checking back in. Bailey unable to hit the reverse. The rebound comes out to Becker. Full steam ahead. She goes right to the basket and able to finish for 2.
And what had shaped that was a pretty good possession for Durham. They were getting chances down here, offensive rebounds, drawing fouls, and they couldn't finish, and it ends up in a leak-out for Lincoln the other way. So we've seen that a couple times tonight.
Miki gets into the key, turns around for the lefty floater, no good. Toussaint's follow too strong. Maskwich comes down with it. She's looking to push. Here's Hall on the left wing. Maskwich drives now. Looked like she was confused whether to pass or take it. Ends up taking it herself and finishes her own lefty.
Yeah, I agree with you. She looked like she probably did want to pass that, but stayed on balance the entire time, which allowed her to have a plan B. So she got in there. What she wanted to do wasn't available, was on balance enough to put it up on the glass and get her 2 points.
Bailey's pass there. Tip stolen away by Maskwich. Sorry, Maskwich comes down, cut off by Bailey. They're looking to get Becker a touch inside. Hall feeds it to her, making a move on Chadwick. It's going to be dribbled off of her own leg, though. It's going to go back to Durham Elite.
Go back to O'Hara now, too, which is probably about right, but we'll see how long they're going to. We'll see if this is a straight shift for 7.5, if they're going to give her a break in the middle of it.
Bailey kicks out to O'Hara, just checked in. Her shot's a little off. Maskwich comes down with it. Maskwich with long strides, gets down the key. Her pull-up from the foul line, no good, but Hall's able to clean up the miss. Here's Becker again from the top. This one's off. It's going to go Durham Elite way.
Yeah, good look. You could see the Lincoln bench get up. You knew they wanted that one. I think you get Becker with a clean look at the top with how she's been shooting. You're feeling pretty excited. Just this one was a little off.
Lincoln remains in that man pressure. Here's Massam working against McMillan.
Lincoln's got a very good perimeter defensive group out there right now.
A little fancy dribbling there by Washington, able to get free for the floater. It's no good. We're going to have a foul fighting for the ball on the ground. And they're going to call that on Washington, so that's going to be her fourth. With that, Washington's going to go to the bench, and Bailey's going to check right back into the game for Durham.
This will be interesting. You can't imagine Durham can go long like this. They're 1 point game. You're going to have to play the ones you think can get you there. So Washington gets a little breather. That's fine, but it probably won't be too long.
Hall drives right through the lane. She's going to be hit by O'Hara on the way to the basket, makes the layup and the foul, and that's going to be her fifth.
Oh, there's confusion there for Durham on the defensive end. I think they had some people in the wrong spots because they're so stretched out in the perimeter, but nobody in the paint to protect that. So Hall got through that first layer, then was uncontested the rest of the way.
Oh, never mind. That was not on O'Hara. It was on Bailey, so it's going to be Bailey's four. So O'Hara remains in the game, but another key member of the Durham Elite squad picking up a foul. And off the miss, they find a cutting Martindale for two, and she finishes for two more. It's a 3-point Lincoln lead now, 72-69.
This has really switched, and Durham's got some big decisions to make on the foul trouble. So now that you've gone down by 3, you have to have the ability to respond to that, but you also have to have some awareness of some key players sitting on the bench with 4 fouls. They're going to make lineup adjustments or just let them play here, and that's part of their decision. What's been fun to watch on the Lincoln side is they've been matching up their guards with the Durham guards defensively. So they've given them a bit of a breather right now, and then as Washington comes back in, we'll probably assume Balabacubo will come back in for that matchup, and Hall's been taking Demiki here for most of the fourth quarter. Sometimes to stem this tide, it's just a bit of a question for Durham as well of can we do something different for 2 minutes, minute and a half even, just to see if that gets Lincoln to think or act a little bit differently what they're doing offensively. And in an ideal world, if you can generate yourself a steal, get something that gets you feeling a little bit better, that might just stem this to get back into the lineup you want after they give them a bit of a breather here or getting some sort of flow on offense. Because at some point here, they're going to get Washington back in there and getting her to create some of that offense. So what do you do between now and then to keep it rolling?
Here we have Durham Elite ball for Durham Elite. We have Demiki, Massam, Bailey, Toussaint, and Chadwick. For the Huskies, we have Becker, Maskowicz, McMillan, Hall, and Martindale. Lincoln drops back, but then Martindale picks off the pass from Massam. Hall out in transition, able to finish for 2 more.
Lincoln with a nice job, showing a different look on pressure themselves here, coming at half court with the trap.
Toussaint able to dribble around Maskowicz that time, get right into the key. Her lefty's no good. Maskowicz cleans it up, pushing the other way. Here's Becker in transition. Her shot's a little bit short, but gets her own miss. She's going to be fouled before the second attempt, so she'll be at the line. No, she'll be on the baseline.
Yeah, Lincoln came back. New look in their pressure, generate that steal, and has actually thrown a bit of a wrench in what Durham was trying to do.
Becker's pass down low is going to be tipped out of bounds, so it's going to remain with Lincoln. And sorry, that last foul that we said was on O'Hara was actually on Demiki. So Bailey remains with 4, O'Hara with 4, and Washington with 4 for Durham. They're able to get it into Becker, and her right-handed scoop is able to finish over Chadwick. 2 more points, Nia Becker.
Lincoln did a nice job pulling Durham out wide there. Everybody seemed to go with their match. So what that created was a pocket over the top for Becker, and she had one-on-one towards the rim. So a lot of space to go attack and play.
Demiki gets in the key, finds a cutting Chadwick who was open, unable to hit, but gets her own rebound. Drives right in the lane, finds a cutting Massam who's going to be blocked there by Becker. Finds a leaking out Hall. Little mishandle there though, but able to retain it. They're trying to find Maskowicz. Her shot, first attempt's no good. The second attempt is going to be fouled by Massam. She'll be at the line for 2.
Love both passes there by Becker. She gets the first on the block, and then the Lico pass, she actually throws like a low skip, but it allows the defense to have no angle to challenge it. It gets out to Hall in space. Then again, the one from the top to go right into Maskowicz in the paint. So 2 nice passes by Becker in that possession.
The first one able to hit. We now have an 8-point Lincoln lead. 5 minutes, 24 seconds here remaining in the fourth quarter. And able to hit the second. With the Lincoln lead growing, we're going to have to see how much longer they remain with Washington and O'Hara on the bench.
I can't imagine it can be too much longer now. Going to make up 9 points and only 5.5 to play. Going to trust they can play a few minutes, though, getting a foul.
Chadwick, the little step back there. No good. The fight for the rebound. Martindale comes up with it. That we have both O'Hara and Washington coming off the bench, so they'll check in at the next whistle. They look for a cutting Maskowicz. It's going to be tipped out of bounds by Massam. It's going to remain Lincoln ball on the baseline. A bigger lineup here for Durham as both Bailey and Massam check out.
Lincoln did keep the matchup on the perimeter. We thought they might. Going to contain Washington here in the fourth quarter.
Great inbounds as I find Maskowicz cutting right to the ball, and she's able to finish around Chadwick for 2.
Yeah, the baseline's been really nice for Lincoln here. They've continued to get their forwards going to the rim in one-on-one matchups. So on the move and no help defense.
Great defense there by McMillan, able to tie up O'Hara, then force the 5-second call. It's going to ball back to Lincoln.
Those are always big ones on defense. You get a 5-second count momentum swing. It just feels like a big shot of energy for your team. You got to give a lot of credit to the person on the ball that's putting pressure on the offensive player, but also everyone else for taking away those passing angles. So the momentum feels really in Lincoln's side at this stage. You got 11 points with 4.5 to go. The challenge is now on Durham. You've got to try something different, and you have to use something different. So I'm sure their lineup is coming out now with Washington. O'Hara is going to be in it, as we saw. But you got to do something a little different to get this pace picked up and something going back your way for offense.
Also on the defensive end, Lincoln has continued to get easy baskets right at the rim, both for Maskowicz and Becker. So if you're Durham, you're going to have to find a way to get stops.
Yeah, if you're in this timeout, both teams are going to be talking. The team that needs something to be different in this case right now is Durham. The team that wants things to stay as close to the same as possible is Lincoln. So what do you do to allow that environment to stay the same as Lincoln's question? What do you do to try and change it is Durham's question.
Looks like Durham's going to extend the pressure a little bit. Look to trap. Lincoln's able to pass out of it, though. They get it into Becker, who's going to look to go to work on Chadwick. The first one's no good, but the follow a little bit short. The fight for the rebound. It's going to be stolen away by Washington. Her pass, though, is going to be stolen by Valley Byakubo. She's looking to push in transition. Great defense there by Chadwick, able to pick up the charge call, and it's going to go back Durham Elite way.
You know, it's too bad for the Washington one. I think what happens in these games, you get down by 11 and it feels like everything's so rushed, but it's a perfect example of you would actually gain possession of the basketball, and the most important thing at that point was just to come up here and get a good possession for your team. But often we get really excited. We try and throw it ahead. We want that home run play. We want the 2 points, but just too many bodies back to the throw from your own baseline over half and get a completion.
Here's Washington up top, guarded by Valley Byakubo. Chadwick now at the high post. Find Demiki for the wing 3. Just off. Becker's able to clean up the glass. The kick ahead finds Valley Byakubo, but her pass is stolen away by Chadwick. Great play there to get it right into Washington. She's going to be fouled there by Maskowicz. That's going to be Maskowicz's 4th.
Yeah, and she's done a nice job here in the second half. Make your 4th at this stage is fair. Ball's enough plays, and you've got 3.5 to go. She can stay out of it for the rest of the game or give her a breather.
And with the 4, she will go to the bench. Pockernick with 4 is going to check back in. Rainford also with 4 is checked back in. So foul trouble for both squads here. O'Hara looking to inbound, gets it into Washington. Washington looking to drive on Balabiakubo. Kicks it over. Here's Demiki looking to drive. She's going to be fouled by Pockernick. She'll be at the line for 2, and we believe that's Pockernick's 5th foul. So she'll have to check out of the game.
So the last time out, Durham has tried to change the pace a little bit. They came out and put some pressure on it at the half court, as you said, so that's given them a little bit of a different look. Thus far, nothing has come out of it on the points, but it has changed the way the flow is going, so they deserve some credit in that. Now that that's happened, you've disrupted the flow, you get the choice to go back to what you think is your best offense, in this case, to get back in the game, or if you think this new look is what the key is to keep things shifted.
First free throws off for Demiki. Second one rattles out also. Unable to convert for the line for Durham.
Unfortunate, tough to miss 2 right now. Missing both always feels so empty.
Here's Becker up top, fired by Chadwick. Rainford comes off the handoff. They find a cutting Hall. She's tied up. Her shot's no good. They get it out to Washington in transition. Gets right to the key, and she hits for 2. And with the make, we're going to have a timeout, Lincoln. So going into the timeout, we have 3 minutes, 8 seconds remaining here. Durham down 9, Lincoln 80, Durham 71.
Yeah, and if you wanted your best case scenario, if you're going to be down 9, it would have been that, to make sure Washington just got a touch, something in transition, and get her in a bit of a flow. So Lincoln's had some great possession stuff going to the rim here in this 4th quarter. They want to continue that piece. So we talked on one of the previous timeouts about what's been good for you, keep that thing going. And I think what Lincoln still wants is people cutting to the rim, continue to put the ball there. The last time down, they had that same look and just weren't able to convert it, but it's a shot you want to go with it down the stretch. Durham, on the other hand, finally had one going in transition themselves to the rim. They got to find a few more of those. So we'll see what they come out here with now. Being down 9, you always pulled all the bags of tricks, but they've changed the flow and they have a chance to be back in this.
So Lincoln called the timeout. You're up 9, so you're in a good spot, 3 minutes left. Kind of hit a little stagnant, though, the last few. Where are you going to go on the offensive end to try and get a good look?
I don't think the offense has been that bad the last little bit. I think it's still been things going to the rim. So we had Hall last time down at the rim, and someone made a nice play to get a hand on that. And the time before, they had some action at the top there. The handoff, it looked pretty good as well, too. So I think anything that's still going towards the rim is what they want. And Becker's been a big piece of that. Maskowicz was when she was in as well, too. So I'm looking for some cutting action for Lincoln. Keep that piece going.
Durham looks to extend the pressure here. They got Hall on the left wing. Her pass through the middle looked to be stolen by Toussaint, but it was tipped away by Balabiakubo. Rainford retains it. Pressure defense now. 10 on the shot clock. Balabiakubo up top. She's going to look to drive on Toussaint. Good defense there, not causing much. The step back 3 is no good for M. Hall as it's blocked by Demiki, and Washington comes down with it. Washington, a little skip to my Lou, gets around Rainford. Her finger roll is no good. The fight for the rebound is going to be tipped off of O'Hara and out of bounds. It's going to go Lincoln ball.
Yeah, too bad for Washington. It looked like she made that move and thought she had drawn the contact, was why she went to the shot. So probably a shot where she thought she was getting herself to the line. And without that, though, it ends up being a much more difficult shot, and probably one you want to have back.
Durham remains with that extended defense. Demiki up front. Hall looking to dribble around. Toussaint challenging the pass. It's going to be a no call there. They pass it around. Maskowicz is able to retain it up top again. 10 on the shot clock. Balabiakubo up top. Working with the Maskowicz screen, but it's stolen away by Washington. 2 minutes now. We have a 9-point lead for Lincoln. Pass is just going to be mishandled by Demiki and out of bounds. It's going to go Lincoln ball.
A nice shot by Hall there. I thought in the turnover, she had already kind of sensed it coming and got herself back, which took away any chance of an advantage numbers for Durham. So just being back created a spot where it's originally 3-on-3, then it turns into a 5-on-5. So you get the opportunity to play defense.
Good defense there by O'Hara, able to tie Rainford up. It's going to be a foul there on Demiki, I believe, which is going to send Rainford to the line.
So coming out of this now, Durham can trap and they can foul if they think they want to test Lincoln's free throw shooting down the stretch. That will allow them by a little more time, stretch out more possessions both ways. You'll know that Lincoln will score some, but maybe you'll hope that over the course as their shooting's below what you can be scoring from the floor in that same amount of time.
Rainford able to hit the first, but misses on the second. Maskwich's shot attempt is blocked by Tucson. Lincoln retains the ball, though. 8 on the shot clock here with Babia Kubo looking to drive up top. Great defense by Chadwick causes a turnover, and here comes Durham. It's going to be tipped out of bounds off of Hall. It's going to remain Durham ball. 1 minute, 48 seconds here. We have a 10-point Lincoln lead. They get it into Chadwick up top. They then look to get an action for Washington, who comes off the screen, gets an open look for 3, just short. O'Hara fighting for the rebound, though. It's going to go off her, out of bounds. It's going to go over Lincoln way.
Great job by Rainford there. We gave O'Hara credit earlier for the block out and not releasing to go to the ball. Rainford the same thing in this one now. Gets the contact, just continues to fight. Doesn't allow O'Hara to get free to get that rebound. Watches it bounce back to their possession.
Lincoln able to break through the press. It's going to be a foul there on O'Hara. So it's going to be her fifth, so she's going to check out, and it's going to send Hall to the line for 2 for Lincoln.
So Durham's going to need a little bit of help right now from Lincoln at the free throw line.
Hall says no and answers with a make. Strong in the second, but able to follow up the miss with a rebound.
Now Lincoln has grabbed the offensive rebound both times so far in the strategy of fouling. Put in the line for 2, and they've gotten their offensive rebound on each of their misses.
Good up fake there by Rainford, able to get right in the key. Unable to hit rim, though, on the make. It's going to be a shot clock violation. It's going to be Durham ball here. 1 minute 15 now, down 11.
So they haven't added to it, but almost what would be the best case scenario for Lincoln, worst case for Durham, is just send them to the line, stops the clock. But then Lincoln goes there, makes the first each of these 2 times, shoots the second one, misses, gets their own offensive rebound. So Durham's getting a bit of what they want. If you're going to foul, slow down the game, you hope 1 or none is obviously the best case scenario, but 1's probably a fair ask. You've got to score at the other end, but if they're going to get 1 and the offensive rebound, they can't really come back on that piece. So I'm assuming at this stage now, Durham's going to go the same piece. They got to get something to score down here themselves. They'll take a chance. They've been doing it for some sort of trap. They get a steal, then probably foul and continue to stretch this game out. Lincoln on the flip right now is probably doing the same talk. Make sure we get through that first level of pressure, then they're going to come to foul, so take care of the ball, make a couple free throws, or offensive rebound.
Fair. If you're Durham, who do you think you're going to go to get a shot here? You're down 11, a minute 15. You got to get some points soon.
Yeah, I think they've got to go back to Washington, and she's going to make the decision for you. You put her into some sort of action. Doesn't have to be her shot, but she'll be the decision maker or the creator of that offense.
Here we have Demiki to inbound for Durham. Hall denies the inbound, so it's going to remain Durham ball.
Hall does a nice job here, too. If they run Washington towards the sideline, at least a very small window and area to catch that in.
Here's Demiki, an open look from the corner. Then the quick trigger three is good. Demiki for three-key.
And the clock error action has been a bit of an advantage for Durham in this case. So it's not a timeout, but it's a stoppage. They get a chance to set up what they're trying to do defensively, get themselves organized, put some time back on the clock.
So we have 1 minute, 6 seconds here. 8-point lead now for Lincoln. They're able to break through the Durham press. They get it up. Becker finds a cutting Maskowicz with the size mismatch down low. She's going to be tied up there, though, by Chadwick, and she'll go to the line for two.
Maskowicz might get away a little bit bailed out in that one. I think she had a one-on-one when she caught it, but went towards the space, then actually picked up and spun back towards the double team, so she looked in troubles. Durham probably got their hands on a little too much and got the foul, which was too bad for them because they probably had her stuck in a double team.
Maskowicz able to hit the first. Strong in the second. Durham able to clean up the rebound this time, though. But a little bit sloppy there on the pass as Demiki's pass goes through the hands of Chadwick. It's going to go out of bounds. Ball back to Lincoln.
Yeah, we thought about that a bit early in the game, too. Demiki ending a possession, whether it be a rebound or steal, then the next pass out, making sure she was set, knew where she was going with that, and it kind of come to haunt them in this possession or this stage of the game as well.
Durham's going to be called for the foul up top. Bailey on McMillan, so it's going to send McMillan back to the line. And that's going to be Bailey's fifth, so she's going to check out here. McMillan able to hit the first. And the second. So Washington bringing it up against Balabiakubo. Toussaint's three this time, a little bit off. Becker comes down with it. The leak out to Balabiakubo, and she's able to hit for two.
And Durham had a couple of those early in the game, as we've talked about a few times, but it seemed like as the game went on, it was more Lincoln getting those things behind the defense than it was Durham.
Demiki shot there, blocked by Maskowicz. The rebound there by Chadwick, looking for Allen on the pass out, just a bit too high. It's going to go out of bounds. It's going to be Lincoln ball. So as Lincoln dribbles it out, great matchup here in Hamilton. We have Lincoln Prep Huskies taking it a score of 87-74 over the fourth place Durham Elite.
And big second half for Lincoln. They came out, shot the ball extremely well, made some nice plays on top of that defensively, but really put up some points in the second half. And tough for Durham to keep up that kind of offensive production. But an exciting game, the kind of thing we're expecting at this stretch, this point of the season with Game of the Week, and getting ourselves ready for what's probably going to be a great playoff matchup.
And leading scorers for the game. For Durham Elite, we have Chadwick, Washington, and Demiki all with 17. Leading scorers for Lincoln Prep are Nia Becker with 24 and Bryn Maskowicz with 23. And that's all for today. We'll be back again on Thursday in a matchup between Southwest and King. So tune in. Hope to see you again soon.